Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Saturday! Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network, joinourcrew.com, and Crew Brew. My name is Vinnie, Parise, and I am here with Shorts Guy as we are getting you set for New Jersey Devils hockey against the Washington Capitals. Welcome to all fans watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever it is you get your podcasts. Shorts Guy, my friend, my good friend, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Vinny. It's a Saturday evening at this point. The afternoon is past us now that we're after 6 o'clock. Devils play the Caps tonight. It was a beautiful day in here, out here in Jersey. So it's things are looking good. How about you?
Very, very good. I'm up in Wisconsin this weekend. Normally,
Nice.
obviously, I'm in my normal home of Chicago, Illinois town. But I'm up in Wisconsin for the weekend before kind of things really get going in the NHL season. One last little weekend. Got the game tonight, though. But I wish I could say the same about the weather here. You said it was a nice day in Jersey today. Complete crop today here in Wisconsin.
Oh, that sucks.
It was nice early, really nice early. Sun was
Yeah.
shining, nice little breeze, nice fall day. And then at about 3 p.m. Central Time, it just got a little chilly. The sun went away, and then it started raining. So I hope that the Devils find a way to rain on the Washington Capitals home opener the way it rained here in Wisconsin today.
Yeah. Let's definitely hope for that because it was beautiful and it was like 70 and sunny here in Jersey all day today. So let's hope we have a Devils game like the weather was here in Jersey versus the way it was in Wisconsin there.
100%. Hopefully Washington's game matches Wisconsin. The Devils game matches New Jersey's weather.
Yes,
There's a big storyline going around today. I'm actually, listen, a hardcore Devils fan. I wear something Devils basically every single day. I'm obsessed with this team. My mood is quite literally impacted by what this team does, whether it's off the ice, on the ice, whatever. I am appreciative, though, as a hockey diehard, that the NHL is actually making a really big deal about it being Alexander Ovechkin's first game of the season when he starts the year for the first time ever with the goal record in reach. People score 42 goals in a season all the time. Last year he needed like 70, so you knew it wasn't happening last year. This year there's it's not a great chance that at 39 years old he scores 42 goals. I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility, but we're coming in, we're getting close, and that's the big storyline coming in. What do the Devils need to do to make sure that they don't allow him to get off to a good start on that?
It's tough. You obviously gotta have good defensive coverage on him, and everyone knows how he sets up on that wing, just waiting for that one-time pass across. But you're gonna have to man up on him. You're gonna have to make sure that you've got someone covering him, getting into that passing lane or getting into a shooting lane the entire time. This way, just to keep him off the board, just basically know wherever the hell he is at any time during the game. And if you're gonna try to really rain on the parade, maybe Sheldon Keefe puts a shadow on him every time he's on the ice to where you have a specific player that as soon as Ovechkin jumps, that player jumps and is just shadowing him and just pestering him the entire time. But, that's if the Devils are going to focus on that. The Devils may not focus on that because it may not be, the most pressing issue because the Devils need to really recover from that game they had against Toronto, which was just awful. It was just such an awful start. And the Devils need to come out and play real hard from the get-go tonight and score that first goal.
100%. And when you watch that game against Toronto, Tavares scored, but Tavares, as he gets into his 30s here, they took the C away, gave it to Matthews. Matthews, Marner, Nylander didn't really impact the game offensively all that much. I mean, they had a couple chances here and there. Matthews, there was one shot where he got off from like a sharp angle. I was like, only Matthews really even has a chance to score on a shot like that. But it didn't go in. They kind of kept those guys quiet, and it was the depth that Toronto had. A lot of the damage came in the first period. I'm sure you're in lockstep with me thinking if the Devils want to win this game against Washington, they need to come out firing in the first period. Arguably needs to be their best period.
Yeah, no, they have to come out and they have to start the game much better than they did on what was that Thursday night? Yeah.
Thursday night, yep.
That was just it was terrible. I got into the game a little bit late, helping Sam break down and making sure we were good to go from doing, game day live. But it seemed to be very quick that the Devils were down 3-0. Defensively, they looked all over the place. It looked like there was a lot of plays where Markstrom was scrambling. It's just everything looked real discombobulated on the defensive end. The 2 goals that they scored, it seemed like they really kind of poured it on, and when the Devils poured it on, they went from 0 to 100, and they were able to score. So they've got to do that right from the get-go tonight, and their defensive shape's got to be so much better than it was the other day, because it just seemed like Toronto was just all over the place, and the Devils could do nothing right when it came to anything. Toronto was right on them. Toronto was on top of them very, very quickly, and it gave the Devils no chance and no space. When you have no chance and no space, you have a turnover. It's a very quick. The Toronto had a very quick counter, so it was just overall just not all that great. It got better as the game went on, but then again, we weren't going to go 82-0 as much as Markstrom was joking. He would have loved to have gone 82-0. We were going to lose. We were hoping it would be a little bit later than just game 3, first home opener. But I've gone all the home openers in the last, I can't tell you how many years, and I feel like it's very rare for them to actually win at the home opener anymore.
Yeah, it's tough, and at least they had those 2 games in Prague where, that's what the Devils can look like when they're at their best.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of touched on Markstrom being all over the place a little bit. I feel like since I started watching hockey, just due to the nature of the Western Canadian teams and the California teams all being on super late, and I'm a night owl, I feel like those are some of my most watched teams. And Jacob Markstrom's 2 teams that he's played for before the Devils were Vancouver and Calgary. I feel like I've seen him a lot, so I kind of knew what to expect coming in. But I'm curious your take on as a goalie yourself. The way he plays goal, he's a little bit of a spider monkey in there. He's not as calm in the net, I think, as some of the other high-end goalies that have played in the league over the last couple of years. What are your thoughts when I make that comment?
So you're right. He can be a scramble goalie at times. We saw the paddle save in Prague. I think that shows it. Instinctually, I think his instincts are fantastic for him to make a save like that. That's one of those. We were talking about it, I think, on the Big Show. Those are one of those saves that you're really jacked you make, but you also hope you don't have to make them, because you're potentially when you're in that situation, you're out of position, or you've kind of lost track of the puck for a second. But I was watching his movements in the net. Whenever I'm at a game, especially where I was, if I have a good view of the goaltender, I always like to watch their movements in and around the crease. And his crease movements are very quick. They're very to the point. He moves around very well. It seems to be, though, maybe it's just the way it's happened, but maybe I'm noticing this a little bit more. It seems to be his glove is a little bit weak at times. I want to say that there's been quite a few that have gone glove side on him. Overall, though, he's a bigger goalie, and I do like that. And I think he's going to be, a great stopgap for the next 3 years for us, maybe 4, depending on how he does and how the Devils are. I know he's motivated because of his age to win now, which is what we want. I do need to watch him a little bit more, because it's really been 2 games that I've seen, and I know that tonight I have to listen to the game on the radio versus watching. But I could probably give you a better, ask me around game 12. Ask this question again around game 12, and I'll probably have a better analysis of him. But that's
I just took note.
3 games.
Game 12.
Game 12. That's my after watching 3 games analysis. So ask me again at game 12.
All right, and it's game 12 of Markstrom, not the Devils. I will keep that.
Yes.
Note. I have it written down, and I will come back to this because I like having that conversation. I like the goaltending breakdown. We'll move up to the forwards a little bit. One player I kind of wanted to highlight coming into the show when I had some notes ready to go was the fact that Mr. Timo Meier, who a lot of people don't even realize, because he was a little injured last year and he wasn't quite San Jose Timo Meier, or even Devils the year before Timo Meier. Last year, he led the team in goals. He had 28 goals last year that led the team by one. Heischer, Hughes, and Bratt all tied for second with 27. Foley was the team leader at the time of him being traded. But by the end of the year, the guy that led the team in goals was Timo Meier. He has 19 goals in his last 24 games going back to last year. That's a pace of 59 goals over an 82-game stretch. Do I think Timo Meier is going to score 59 goals this season? No, I don't really think so. Do I think he can touch 40 and possibly even flirt with 50 if he really stays healthy and is that dominant power forward? Yes, I do. What have you seen from Timo Meier through the first handful of games here, and what are your expectations for him if this team is going to end up being a playoff squad?
The big thing I've noticed with him is he's pouring on the shots. He's shooting. He's shooting. He's shooting. He's going to the net. He's driving to the net. It just seems to be that's what he's looking to do this season. He's one of those all around. What's the best way to put it? He's one of those players that's just he'll do whatever he needs to do. He's got a nose for the net, but he'll also go muck it up in the corner if he needs to. So he's that all-around player that you want, that all-around power forward, essentially, is what he is. But that's the one thing I've noticed this year. I think the one game he might have had 9 shots on net. I think he had 6. I think he had 6 against Toronto. So he's gunning for net. I think his mindset this year is absolutely going to be shoot, and put it on and hope that he scores. Because if he just keeps doing that, it sounds cliche, but you can't score unless you shoot, and he's shooting. So he's looking to pick up as many goals as possible this year with that type of attitude, and I'll take that.
100%. And when I watched that goal that he scored against Toronto, it was with like 5 seconds left in the second period. The Devils only were able to score in the final minute of periods in that game, unfortunately. But the shot he took and the shot that went in, I was like, that is San Jose Sharks Timo Meier right there. That is the guy who had 40-something goals 2 years ago where he just ripped it. There are certain guys where when they shoot it, it looks like the puck like kind of rises at a speed that like only certain players in the league can get it on a wrist shot, and he's one of those guys.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you hate as a goalie because they're very hard to read. And they're hard to stop because you can't really read it that well. So having that type of shot in your offensive arsenal is awesome, especially if it's a goalie that you may not see often. Like the Metro goalies will get it to the point where they'll have it figured out. But, some of those goalies, like, in the West that, I know it's been this will be 3 years now that he's not in the West. So, the goalies are changing and it'll be those goalies he sees twice a season that he'll be able to kind of jump on that, sneak up on him a little bit more than the ones that he's going to see, 4 or 5 times a season, like a Shesterkin or what's his name? The other
Sorokin, Varlamov.
Yes. Thank you.
All
Thank
the
you.
different guys in the division.
Yeah.
I think you got Kochetkov in Carolina, guys like that.
Yeah. Those are the guys I'd be curious to see what he does at the end of the season, where the bulk of his goals are scored. If it's against Metro teams only because we play them so often, or if it's out of Metro teams because they're unfamiliar with them. So it'll be an interesting stat to kind of look at and kind of pour over come the end of the season.
100%. I can promise remembering the 12-game thing for Markstrom. I'll try my best to remember by the end of the season to look back on Timo Meier's goal scoring this season and where it came from, who he succeeded against. Washington, I mean, they're an interesting team. I look at the squad and I'm like, you think back to like old times, right? And it's like you think of Ovechkin, and they have John Carlson still. They obviously don't have Nicholas Backstrom anymore. But you think of, some of the other players that they have recently that are good. Obviously, Tom Wilson is still there in the top 6. Dylan Strome and Pierre-Luc Dubois are their top 2 centers. Both good players. Both have had flashes of brilliance. Both really high draft picks. Actually, were they both 3rd overall? They both were 3rd overall. That's actually interesting. Yeah. Dubois obviously traded there from the Kings this offseason after a not so great 1-year stint with them where his character was in question, his effort was in question. Nobody can deny his pure talent as a power forward, but I think Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier should be able to, as a two-headed monster, stack up well against them tonight. We'll see how that fares for their offense.
They should, but Jack and Jack needs to start putting the puck in the net in his own right as well.
Yep.
I know he's creating a little bit more than he's he's definitely creating more than he's scoring, because I don't think he has a goal yet this season, if I
Nope.
remember that correctly. So he's creating, but he has to start scoring, because we're not paying him to pass. We're not paying him to lead the team in assists. He's being paid to score. So he has to turn that on already. I know Nico has a goal. So Nico is, 1 goal in 3 games. That's a good start. But they both need to start turning it up as well, because they're here to score. I would see Nico more as a setup passing player versus Jack. Jack's got to score, and then Nico's got to score too. But Jack more especially, he's got to score.
Yeah, I remember the year Taylor Hall won the MVP. I think he had like 7 assists in his first 6 games, but no goals. It's just like sometimes these guys, it seems like they go through this stretch where like, oh, I'm a playmaker right now. Oh, I'm the sniper right now. Timo Meyer and Bratt each have a couple goals. There's been some depth scoring. I like seeing Seamus Casey on the board. We'll see how that goes tonight with the pairings. But I'm overall looking forward to how this team plays against the Capitals, because I still think they played good enough to win against the Maple Leafs, but that little 5-minute stretch where they went down 3-0, that ended up being like the Achilles heel. And I don't love the way they didn't like get a little extra creative with their offensive chances. There were a lot of shots on goals, but a lot of it from the outside, not a lot of great rebound or net fronts. The Devils have multiple defensemen who could shoot pucks through traffic. Dougie Hamilton, Seamus Casey. Luke Hughes isn't there right now, but Kovacevic is a guy that has shown the ability to do so far. I think we're calling him Johnny. Bill Spalding cleared up for us. I know you were at the game, but Bill Spalding cleared up on the broadcast that he prefers to be called Johnny, and he's written in the system as Jonathan for whatever reason, but he's Johnny Kovacevic. But then again, Sheldon Keefe called him Kovechkin after that beautiful goal that he scored in Czechia. So it's awesome to see some of these guys coming to fruition. I'd just like to see them be a little less sluggish there in Washington tonight. It seemed like they were sluggish in the first period against the Maple Leafs, and they weren't overly physical the way that they were in Czechia. And someone in my Twitter did mention, like, oh, they came back from Czechia. I'm worried that they're going to be a little slow and sluggish, and sure enough, they were. They were ready to play overseas, and they were not ready to play in New Jersey. Hopefully this road trip is a nice little business trip to the capital of the United States and get a big win against Washington.
Yeah, it's a short trip too. It's just a couple hours. I'm not quite sure. I've got to assume that they fly, and I think by flight from the New York area, it's less than 2 hours, if it's even an hour. So it's just kind of like a hop and skip over to DC, a very quick one, and that's kind of the beauty of the Metro is you've got the Rangers, the Fish Sticks, the Flyers, and Washington, Pittsburgh to a degree as well. Very close in proximity geographically. So these away trips are kind of like just very short jaunts, really. I mean, you can even throw Boston in there. Boston by air is an hour. That's really not that bad. But this trip, it's, not like flying overseas. There's no time change. That's what we have the advantage of being out here, out east. We got these short trips, but aside not aside from, which is completely different than the Western teams, which they travel quite a lot. But this should just be a very quick trip down to DC. Just do what you got to do. Sam mentioned something on, I want to say Devils After Dark, I think it was, when I was with them on Thursday, about maybe the Devils will once again be a better road team than home team. And I hope that's not the case, but I'll take a win when we can get a win, but we're going to need road and home wins this season. We can't just go with the road wins. But this quick trip to DC is a good opportunity for them to right the ship after Thursday, because then we play again. Are we away on Tuesday? I know this next game. I can't remember if we're away.
Well, it's not, though. I was going to bring up this point, actually, right when you were done. It's perfect you said it. They need, winning this game against the Capitals is important. Mm-hmm. They actually play Utah on Monday.
That's right, Monday.
Columbus Day.
Monday.
And I think it's important because that Utah team is sick. Like they're young, they're fast, they're motivated.
2-0.
A lot of those guys,
right now.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of those guys came in from Arizona where things were sluggish. Nobody showed up to the
Yeah.
games or Mullet Arena was full because it was like 2,000 people, but like it wasn't an
Yeah.
NHL vibe. You were there, obviously. I'm sure it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it was really fun for the players like early, and then I'm sure it got old after a while. Is my
I'm
how
sure.
I feel
I'm
like
sure.
I would project it, and I would love to see Utah go into Madison Square Garden tonight and just absolutely dummy them. That would be
That would be
outstanding.
fantastic.
The Rangers are heavy favorites, and I really don't get why. I'm like, have the books watched Utah play so far? But
Because
we'll
they're the
see how it goes.
Rangers.
The Rangers, they got biased, but yeah, then they go to Carolina the next night. Then they're off till the Thursday where they play Ottawa. So that's like 3 games. No, it's 4 games in like a span of 6 or 7 days. Like that's a lot of
Yeah. And
hockey
Ottawa's
to
doing
start the
well.
season.
And
Ottawa's doing well. And
So
the
it's
Hurricanes are going to be rested. That's going to be their second game of the season.
yeah, they're supposed
And
to
the
be playing
Devils will
tonight.
have
That got postponed. So
exactly.
the Devils
Exactly.
got some
The
work ahead of them.
Hurricanes team.
The Devils have some work ahead of them tonight and into next week. I completely forgot about that Monday game because I got to be at work and it's a 1:00 start. And I wish I can go, but I can't. Trust me, I'd rather
Yeah.
be there.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's let's start with tonight. Take care of this game. Take care of the game ahead of you. If they really care about keeping Ovechkin off the board, maybe they'll work on that. But I think just overall, sure up that defensive start, and then get some offensive output in the beginning as well.
100%. Is it bad? So when Ovechkin scored his 700th career goal, that was against the Devils. It was a win for the Devils. Damon Severson won it in overtime. I have an okay memory. I just know like some things stick out in your head though forever. Like that's a big game. Ovechkin scored 700 career goals for the guy that might go be the greatest of all time in that department is like a core hockey memory. And Damon Severson, it was like the best of both worlds because I wanted to make sure I saw Ovechkin reach that milestone. And oddly enough, guess who he gets 800 against? The Chicago Blackhawks, a team I also watch a frequent amount. Like it was crazy the way that worked out. It wouldn't bother me if he broke the record against the Devils, as long as the Devils end up winning that game. That would make me so happy if Ovechkin broke the record against them, because I would mean I'm guaranteed watching it. But also, I want the Devils to still win the game. So maybe they win 5-1. I do think the Capitals are going to lose the game that Ovechkin breaks the record because there's going to be so much emotion. Nobody cares about anything else. So we'll see how that goes. But Shorts Guy, while people right now go into the YouTube chat and put in your predictions, I will read your predictions out loud on air. Shorts Guy, you got to be pretty pumped about the New York Mets, though, real quick, my dude. They are 4 wins away from being in the World Series as the National League champions. Talk to me about the Mets real quick while the folks throw in their New Jersey Devils predictions.
It was awesome being there with Sam for the clinching
Celebrity
game.
Grimace Woo.
It was, oh my gosh, yeah. Grimace and the Hamburglar were both there. And it was wild. It's this ride with the Mets is fantastic, and I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it. Lucky for me, I knew I had it somewhere. I was able to find my black with blue trim Mets jersey from a bunch of years ago, so I've got that ready to go right now too. But man, just being there, watching them win that Lindor Grand Slam was just something else. It was, as soon as that happened, a buddy of mine texted me. He's like, "You just witnessed one of the most clutch moments in Mets history." And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I did. It was insane. Wouldn't have traded any of that night for the world. It's going to be a wild ride, and I'm going to just kind of go with it as long as possible.
I am so hardcore rooting for you guys. Like, you have no idea how, because my team was the worst team of all time, and they broke your team's record, which is just so great. You're gonna not like. I told Sam, I hope they play the Yankees. I want them to beat the Yankees.
There's a lot of people that want that, and there are some
Sam's hesitant. I don't know how you feel.
At this point, it doesn't matter to me who they play as long as they keep winning. I don't really care. But Beer Baron, as a Yankee fan, essentially said he believes if it's Subway Series for the World Series, that it's going to be the Mets' turn to do it. So
100%.
he's not. I don't think he's the only Yankee fan that's thinking that, because the insanity that will be New York City if it's a World Series, Subway Series, World Series once again, it's going to be insane, because it's there. There were "Let's Go Met" chants walking out of the Rock the other night.
I love that.
It just
So
seems to
love
be the Mets, to me, are like the people's team, like just the team of the people. And Mets fans are just coming out of the woodwork, because they're doing well, and you're seeing more and more Mets hats out and about right about now, and Mets jerseys and stuff like that. So I was at a show last Saturday, and a couple people had Mets jerseys on at the show, which was really awesome to see, because the Mets are kind of like the second team a lot of times, but right now they're kind of top of the pile right now, and it's everyone's going for it, and a lot of the news outlets here in the New York area, the New Jersey, New York area, are looking forward to that hopeful Subway Series, World Series.
100%. That would be so amazing. It'd be different than
Mm-hmm.
2000 too,
Oh
because in
yeah,
2000 social media wasn't prevalent. I don't think things were the way they are now, with both teams kind of. In 2000, the Yankees were like in the middle of a dynasty, and the Mets were
mm-hmm.
like, they were good. They had a couple Hall of Famers on the team. This time around, it's like both teams came into the season with mixed expectations. Neither
Yeah,
team has won much of anything in the last 10 years or so. Yeah, the Yankees were in the ALCS, I think, in 2018 or 2017, 2019 maybe. But like other than that, the Mets and 15 and was it 15 they were real good and lost in the World Series, but like for the most part the
yeah,
last decade has been dull for both, unlike
yeah.
2000. So
That was
I'm super stoked.
the first playoff game that I've been to, and ironically, well, not ironically, but not surprisingly, the other playoff game I was at before was 18 years ago with Sam. So two playoff games that I've been to, and both of them in with producer Sam. And I'm willing to ride this ride for as long as possible. And what's really cool is at work, a lot of the staff are Mets fans, which is even better. So a lot of Mets jerseys on dress down days at work, which is really good. And when announcements are made at work, a lot of them are ending with a "Let's go Mets," even though we have some Yankee fans. But it's really cool.
That's awesome. I see a question in the chat. Someone wants to know if
Mm-hmm.
TJ Oshie is playing. I believe TJ Oshie is out for the season.
Mm.
He's not going to play this year, so that answers that question. I'll read off some predictions. Lit Bubs says 4-2 Devils. AJ
Okay.
says 5-3 Devils. Brooke says 3-1 Devils.
Mm.
Shroom Goon, I like that name. Shroom Goon. 5-2 Devils. Nico with a hat trick. This is a family show. JP says 4-1 Devils. IDK says 5-3 Devils. Mercer has a big game. Survey says, is it serve or survey? Because I love that way I say survey says 3-1 Devils. Ding! Couple other predictions. Joseph says 9-2 Devils. Took
That's a
inspiration
Sam
from
Wu.
Short's guy's jersey number. He took your jersey
Love it.
number into
Love it.
consideration, just backwards.
I
And
love it.
then the great Sam Wu says 5-3 in favor of the New Jersey Devils. Shorts
All
guy,
right.
what is your prediction for tonight's game?
So my prediction is it's going to be a close one, and it's 3-2 Devils.
3-2 Devils. That's funny
Mhm.
because my score prediction in my head was a little similar to yours. I had 3-2 Devils with the empty netter to make it 4-2 Devils in the
Okay.
victory. I really hope that's how it turns out to be. I want them to win so bad. So we will see how that goes. I think you have to win. You don't have to win. Obviously, it's
No,
the
you have
fourth
to
game
win.
of the season.
You have
But
to win
like,
because
you'd rather
you
be
got to get back on that.
3-1 is different. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, 3-1 is different, and you got to get your first win on home soil. Essentially, we won twice in Europe, but you got to win over here too. Back home. So this will be the first regular season game here back in country. I think it's going to be a big thing for the Devils, and really with the way that Washington is, it's a team that we should be beating with the way that they are right now. They're a team that's on the downward slide. So we should be beating them, but you got to take care of your business of the teams you're supposed to do it, like Washington, and then beat the other teams that are ahead of you too. But this is one of those games where you just got to take care of your business and get it done and go home with 2 points.
Absolutely, I'm with you. Hopefully, they're able to get it done. Got to be able to beat those teams that you're supposedly better than. I can't thank everybody enough for watching. Oh, and you don't want people saying, "Oh, they only beat Buffalo. Buffalo so bad."
Exactly.
Hopefully, the Devils. You need to win against someone other than freaking Buffalo. Nasty start to the season for that team because they got smoked by the Kings too. They let 100-year-old Kopitar get a hat trick. Anyway, for those watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, we thank you very much for watching. For Shorts Guy, for Sam Wu, for everybody at the Let's Go Devils podcast, I'm Vinnie Parise, and as always, thank you for listening.